Hello, in this video I'm going to show you a game in my Mutsuki, which I'm sure you all know as a very powerful tier 6 Japanese destroyer. But it's not in this video. In this video it is almost completely stock, and I intend to kind of show you one of the ways you can still do pretty well on this ship. So there's smoke over there, which means, yep, there's an enemy Benson just popping out of the smoke. The fact that it popped the smoke just meant I could start turning away a bit quicker, fire my torpedoes, because it's just within my maximum torpedo range. And it looks like I'm about to run aground. So I pop my smoke, and while I'm hiding in the smoke, I'll just tell you why the Mutsuki isn't great when it's stock. Basically, well, it's actually really effective. Well, three things. It's got a concealment range of 6.2 kilometers, so if I come close to that, closer than that to an enemy ship, I will get spotted. But its torpedoes have a 6-kilometer range, so you cannot fire your torpedoes while you're not spotted. And on top of that, the guns are actually just awful. Horrible traverse speed, the same as the Mutsuki-class, which you would have got used to by now. Also the same rate of fire, which is painfully slow. But what's new is they've also got an incredibly short range. I believe it's 6.4 kilometers stock. In this game I have the fire control upgrade, so it's about a 7.6 kilometer range, which is still just terrible. And basically in this ship you're going to have to put yourself at significant risk if you want to do any damage to the enemy. And, well, as you've seen so far, I've done nothing. The Benson turned away so my torpedoes didn't reach it, and I fired, I think, just a single shell at it actually. I fired at it anyway, and it was at my maximum range and it got away before my shells arrived. But right now, I'm thinking I can use the smokescreen the Benson laid to come up real close to these enemy ships, hide in the Benson smoke, and fire away at them, hopefully with torpedoes, without them having a chance to spot me. But as I come close, I see the smoke's receding, and I'm not sure whether that's because I'm actually in the smokescreen now, so the game's just cutting it out so I can see better, or whether it's actually disappearing because it was laid a fair while ago. So I can't tell if I've been spotted because this is a new ship for me, so I don't have the situational awareness skill. But basically, right about now I have probably been spotted. Yeah, that Benson would definitely be spotting me. Try to swing my guns around to fire on it, but they don't traverse quickly enough to do so. So instead I just have to content myself with firing away at the New Mexico with my torpedoes. Again, they're just within their maximum range. So, decent chance, but the New Mexico, sorry, is going slightly away from me. So, we might get lucky. And at this point I actually go AFK because a bad song came on the stereo, so I have to go change it. And yeah, I run around again for the second time in this match. Oops. But I arrive back in time to go see how my torpedoes are going. Well, they actually look pretty good. They ran out of steam just before arriving at New Mexico, so I have still not done any damage to the enemy, and I've run aground twice. But at least I haven't taken any damage so far either, and my team are pushing the enemy back on this flank at least. So what to do now? Well, the New Mexico's isolated itself slightly, so if I can use this island just on the right of the screen here as a bit of cover from the enemy cruiser off an enemy cap, I could hopefully close in with the New Mexico and get some short-range torpedoes off, and do so fairly safely with my allied cruisers backing me up and providing a bit of distraction. The big risk is that enemy Benson, which we saw around, which would just absolutely destroy me if it, well, if it actually decides to engage me, it will destroy me no problems. Fire off 3 torpedoes at New Mexico. It's only going to take 1 to sink it at this point. Oh, it was fire from the enemy Pensacola. Luckily it missed. Oh, and I got my first hit. Something on the board. I hit the New Mexico. It looks like it might be dead before my torpedoes arrive, though. Fire off 3 more shells at it. Get 1 hit. It does no damage because when New Mexico's battleship, it has heavy armor. And, well, at least I've done something this game. Got 2 shots on target. And the Benson was around the other side of the island from me, fired its torpedoes, but decided not to come around and try and kill me. Take a hit there from the Pensacola, but minimal damage. So yeah, the Benson, it probably could have come around and killed me, but the 3 cruisers I've got backing me up probably would have killed it as well, so right, probably the right move on behalf of that Benson. But it does mean I get to come around the island and try and, well, have a go at it. But I'm heading wide around this island because I want to have the main island blocking myself from the Pensacola's fire. And it's not quite going to happen. Fire off some torpedoes where the Benson's going to be. I switched to a widespread just because, well, I have no idea where it's going to manoeuvre. The Benson lays smoke, which also means that I'm probably not spotted right now. So that's a pretty good spot to be. The Benson's travelling too fast for its smoke, and because I'm coming around the side I can spot it when it comes out the back. And I've just got to get a decent look at it. Fire off my broadside. Didn't quite give enough lead. Where is it? There it is. It's turned away a bit. Oh, it's completely out of its smoke screen now. And there we go. Actually, no, my torpedoes, even at that range, didn't have the range to actually reach that Benson just because it was travelling so fast away. Did manage to take out its rudder there though and do almost 1,000 damage, so at least I've done something this game. It's running away pretty well, and don't know why it's only firing 1 gun at me, but it is only firing 1 gun at me and I've managed to avoid all its shells. Send another broadside out. 1 more hit, 330 damage. Not spectacular, but Bensons don't have a lot of hit points, so, well, it's dead now. And again it misses me, and that's an enemy battleship just around the corner there. It just looks on the minimap like it might have run aground. So yeah, that seems promising. But anyway, we've reached the enemy cap, so I'm just going to have to go around the corner and try and clear it out as best we can now. I say we, because there's 2 cruisers coming with me. Get my torpedoes ready to fire off at this Fuso. And well, as we come around the headland here, I can see that, well, actually it's not run aground, it's just sitting in the middle of the channel and it might be moving, but it doesn't really appear to be. So I fire off my torpedoes. If it is moving away from me, my torpedoes probably won't actually reach it. But it really doesn't seem to be. It looks like it's AFK. So I switched to fire at the Pensacola. My fire against the Pensacola is actually somewhat effective since, well, it's got no armour. Well, it's got a little bit of armour, but not a lot. Whereas if I'd been firing at the Fuso, I probably wouldn't have done any damage with these shells. But the Pensacola's looking at me, so I turn away from it because I really don't want to take some 8-inch shells. And I manage to dodge its fire. I get 1 hit on that Fuso and cause some flooding. So yeah, apparently I managed to fire 6 torpedoes at a stationary target and 5 of them missed. So that's not really great for my, well, accuracy I suppose. But my torpedo's 20 seconds away from reloading. I decide to turn back around and finish off that Fuso. And while I'm doing so, I'm going to keep firing at the Pensacola because, well, the Pensacola's not AFK, so it's actually a pretty significant threat. I just want to finish off the Fuso quickly because, although it's AFK at the moment, the captain might come back at any second and could really do a lot of damage at this kind of range to the cruisers with me, particularly the Otago, which I'm going to have to slow down a bit to get behind it. And the Otago's fired its torpedoes at the Fuso, so I probably won't be needed. But I figure I'll come in close anyway. Keep firing at the Pensacola because, well, it is the actual threat here. Well, I've basically almost driven it out of the enemy cap circle, so that's one thing. At least we will be able to start capping pretty soon. Enemy bombers coming in, but I ignore them from now because this is stock. I have very poor AA guns. And 3 kilometers range seems pretty effective for my torpedoes. Unfortunately, when I come around the side here, I'm going to get fired at by its secondary guns, or at least I should do. And it seems I got away with it. Oh, that's good. Oh! For a second there I thought I'd been robbed of the kill, but apparently the flooding from that first torpedo just went that whole time, and, well, it killed it eventually. So I obviously did a lot of flooding damage there, but I suppose that's what happens when well, you leave your battleship unattended. So anyway, we've killed that Pensacola, which means that we're pretty securely in possession of the enemy cap circle now. While the enemy are pushing around to ours, I decide the safe thing to do is just to sit here, do donuts, and capture the base. This Otago we saw earlier kind of disagrees, and it's going to head through the central channel to try and do some more damage. And yeah, I think I'll just take the safe win for now. I wonder where those torpedoes came from. Must have been that Alba. It must have fired its torpedoes at near enough the maximum range, because it was obviously aiming at the Fuso, and it took a long time to get there because that Fuso died a long time ago. Actually, I've changed my mind. It looks like the Alba's going to cap the base, which means that since the enemy aren't actually in it yet, I think we'll be safe if I just go off and try and do a bit more damage. I haven't done that much this game, and I need the experience to try and get some upgrades on this ship. Then the Nagato you see at the other end of the channel moves into the cap circle, so I start getting a bit hesitant, thinking, if it's capping and I leave the cap circle, it might put us behind on capture points, and the enemy might win if me and the Otago both go through and get killed. So I really should take the sure thing here and just stay and capture the base. No, there's no way we can't, at least decap the Nagato once. The Alba's well in the cap circle. We've got this. As long as the Alba stays in the cap circle, that is. So I leave, and we are actually slightly ahead on capture points, so that's pretty good for us. You can see one of my teammates objects in chat to my decision, but I'm okay with it. I want to do the damage, I need the experience. I don't need the credits, but I need the experience. And fortunately, the Mutsuki is actually a fairly fast ship, and we can get through the central channel very quickly. And this is without even using the speed boost. I've already caught up to that Otago, which didn't hesitate. But unfortunately, it's kind of blocking me from firing my torpedoes for a little while until I can get in front of it. But that's okay. In this situation, I kind of just want to get in as close as I can to the Nagato to finish it off. Well, finish it off. It's got a lot of hit points, but I will do a lot of damage to it with my 6 torpedoes. Fire off my guns. I aim for the bow because it's got the thinnest armour. Still does no damage, but I tried. Fire off my torpedoes. I am slightly behind the marker because I had a feeling the Nagato was stopping or about to stop. Doesn't matter at that range though. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 hits is enough to sink it, and I'm trying to shoot at the Farragut here. But the Nagato's corpse, I suppose, or hulk or wreck or whatever, is actually blocking my shots. Get a few off, but they go over the stern of the ship. And the Otago, my ally here, gets very lucky that the wreck of the Nagato actually blocked the Farragut's torpedoes. I can't finish the Farragut off though because the Otago's in the way, and by the time I get a shot, well, it's dead. But there's a Miyoko bearing down on us. It's actually just outside my torpedo range, but that's okay. In this kind of situation, I think I'm going to have to do exactly what I did with the Nagato, get in really close and just dump my torpedoes into its broadside. Firing away at my guns, did a bit of damage there, took a bit myself, and I'm just going to zigzag a bit, get my guns back on target. There we go, its secondaries are firing away at me. I'm managing to avoid most of its main battery fire. Oh, big hits from the enemy cruiser well off to our right there. But I've got a decent torpedo shot on the Miyoko. Fire 3 because it's only going to need a couple to kill it. Pop my smoke screen up to try and save me from the secondary fire. And, well, I was robbed of that last kill. The Alba we left behind in the cap managed to capture. But I really would have preferred if it had waited just one more second so I could add another kill here. But as you see, 5,300 experience, 2 kills, a lot of credits, top of my team, despite being a tier 6 destroyer in a tier 8 game. So, well, a stock tier 6 destroyer in a tier 8 game. But here you go, it was really the flooding damage that made it for me. 51,000 with my torpedoes, most of that right at the end against the Nagato, and then another 20,000 on top of that with the flooding against the Fuso. So, yeah, I think that's basically how you've got to play the Mutsuki, at least when it's stock, is your guns are useless. Even, well, I've got the range boost on that ship in that game, and you saw they were still pretty useless. So basically what you've got to do is find isolated enemy ships, kind of wait for your team to back you up, because it gives, well, the enemy something else to shoot at, and then just torpedo them from point blank range. Your torpedoes are powerful, they'll basically kill any ship you encounter if you manage to get all 6 of them on target, and if you're within probably 3 kilometers, you're actually quite likely to get all 6 of them on target, well, at least if you're shooting at a battleship. So, I suppose that's my advice for playing the Mutsuki when it's stock. Fortunately, I'm never going to have to do it again, because that game gave me enough experience to get my B hull upgrade, which makes me slightly more manoeuvrable and gets me some decent anti-aircraft guns, and, more importantly, it gives me the upgraded torpedoes, which have a 10-kilometer range. So with that, I never have to be spotted again. I can just hang back, do stealth torpedo attacks again and again and again, at least just harass the enemy that way until I see a decent opportunity to go in for a close-range torpedo attack. But at least that way I get to choose when I do it, instead of just having to do it because otherwise I'm not going to do anything. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.